All right, good morning, everyone. Sorry we're starting a little bit late. We had a charter school meeting that ran a little bit late. It's great to see everybody at our first morning meeting since who knows when. Roll call.
Mayor Brook,
Here.
Vice Mayor Sarah,
Present.
Commissioner Simmons,
Here.
Commissioner Carter,
Present.
City Manager Babinick,
Here.
Senior Deputy City Attorney Whitaker.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. If everybody would please rise. Today, my request is a moment of silence for any of our parents or grandparents that we've lost. Thank you very much. Chief McNally, where are you? Chief, if you'll lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Chief. All right, next is a recognition proclamation for Black History Month, if everybody can come on down.
All right, good morning, everybody, and thank you all for coming. All right, so Coral Springs has been celebrating Black History Month for more than 20 years. It has been our way of recognizing the invaluable contributions of our community volunteers who devote countless hours towards preserving the heritage and history of African Americans. Black History Month, or National African American History Month, is an annual celebration of achievements by Black Americans and a time for recognizing the central role of African Americans in U.S. history. The event grew out of Negro History Week, the brainchild of noted historian and member of Omega Psi Phi, Carter G. Woodson, and other prominent African Americans. No, it wasn't. Since 1976, every U.S. president has officially designated the month of February as Black History Month. Other countries around the world, including Canada and the United Kingdom, also devote a month to celebrating Black history. The 2024 theme for Black History Month is African Americans and the arts. And so obviously, Black history is American history. And at a time where there seem to be forces in this world that wants to pull back on history and learning about each other and learning the contributions of folks that came out of oppression, of folks that persevered, of folks that survived perilous journeys, of folks that survived some of the worst and most brutal things happening to them in human history, the fact that people still persevered and not only became a foundation of the greatest country in the world. And so it's important that we continue to learn about what people have given to build up the story of America. And so with that being said, I will ask our Mayor Brook to read the proclamation.
Thank you, Commissioner Simmons. Black History Month, or National African American History Month, is an annual celebration of achievements by Black Americans and a time for recognizing the central role of African Americans in our United States history. The City of Coral Springs proudly recognizes the invaluable contributions of our community volunteers, including our MLK committee, who devote countless hours towards preserving the heritage and history of African Americans. Therefore, we, the City Commission of Coral Springs, proclaim this month, February 2024, as Black History Month in the City of Coral Springs. Black history is our history, and we're very proud to recognize this month as Black History Month.
Would anyone like to say anything? Yeah. Janice is our chair. I'll go right after the chair right now, MLK. And all of you,
Janice.
thank you so much for what you guys give to our city, year in, year out, day out. You are stalwarts in this community. You are holding us up, making sure that we continue to show off cultural diversity here in Coral Springs. And we really do appreciate what you all give to us.
Yeah. Thank you, Commissioner Simmons. On behalf of the Martin Luther King Committee, it's our honor to receive this proclamation. I've been fortunate to be part of this committee going on 10 years, and this is one constant commitment from the city to recognize Black history. And as Commissioner Simmons said, in the face of everything that we deal with to try to suppress and not remember history, it's very important that we continue to do so for this generation and for the next generation. So thank you very much.
Just want to make sure that FiServ continues to support us, so make sure you send that around. All right, everybody, I
Janice,
guess
did you
we're
wanna
going to
say
take our...
anything?
You sure? All right, we're going to take a quick picture. Well, yeah. No worries, man.
I started to talk about the scholarship, so you know that's my favorite strength. And I'm glad that, and I was talking about you and the band and being a commissioner. And I said, and then Juneteenth. Yeah. You know, you said that too.
Thank you, Commissioner Simmons. Item number 11 has been pulled. If there is any public comment on that, that public comment will not be addressed by anyone on this dais. It is now time for public comment. Would somebody from the public, actually, do we have any signed speakers?
We do. Our first signed speaker is Keisha Dune Pittis.
Okay, Keisha? Good morning, how are you? Good, welcome. If you'll give us your name and your address. Yeah, whatever you want to give is to the city clerk, Georgia.
Good morning.
morning.
My name is Keisha Dunn Pettis. I am the Director of Programs for the Hart Gallery of Broward County. Our address is 222 Southeast 10th Street in Fort Lauderdale. So I just want to thank you for this opportunity to speak this morning. Again, I work for the Hart Gallery, and what our job is to make sure that we find forever homes for children that are legally available for adoption. What does that mean? These children are foster children. Their parents' rights have been terminated, so they are now a part of the system and have no identified homes. So what we do is come alongside the lead community-based child agency, which is ChildNet, and we post these children's pictures on our website. So a part of what we do is educating the community about the need to expand a local pipeline of adoptive parents. So where we are able to go out and speak and educate the public, that is what we do. So that's why I'm so appreciative of this opportunity. If you were to go onto our website at www.heartgalleryofbroward.org, anytime you go there, you'll see an average of 60 children. These children are primarily ages 8 and up. There's sibling groups. There's some children that are medically needy. And then a predominant number of those children are Black. So we like to partner these youth with potential adoptive families. We host different events that bring these families as well as the foster youth together in a low-pressure, fun-filled environment. We're actually doing an event this Saturday at the Museum of Discovery and Science, where we're bringing these kids together, and they're celebrating the holidays again in February, so they're just going to be gifted once more with just love and the attention that they so deserve. Lastly, I want to share with you that we have physical galleries in the community. So in addition to speaking, we have our galleries where there are children, but not the children on our website, because we want to respect their privacy and give them dignity. But there are pictures where, if you go to the Pembroke Lakes Mall, there's a huge gallery at one of the entrances. If you go to City Hall of Hollywood, Wilton Manors, we have pull-up banners there educating the community about our youth and what we do. We also just had a gallery at the Urban League, and we actually just took that down, but it was up for the holidays as well. So wherever we can just bring attention to these youth and what they need and how we can best support them, that's what we're here for. And I just thank you for allowing me to be their heart and voice today. Thank you so
Great.
much.
Thank you for being here. I'm going to give my card over to the city manager if you want to take it.
Yes.
I'm happy to help.
Mr. Mayor, can I ask for one question? Are you in Broward only?
Well, the art galleries are actually nationwide.
Yeah, good, that's what I
Yes,
wanted to know.
yes.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you very much, Keisha. I appreciate the attention on the youth that need our help, and I'll help you. Okay, do we have another signed speaker, Georgia?
Certainly. Our next signed speaker is Kurt Tiefenbroom.
Kurt. Good morning, Kurt. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you. I'll be very, very brief. My name is Kurt Tiefenbrunn. I reside at 9228 Northwest 2nd Street. And I just wanted to make it official here that how much I appreciated the Vision Summit. And I'm still nervous, so I have to refer to my notes. So good morning. I want to thank our mayor, our commissioners, and city staff for the Visioning 2035 Summit. It was only after attending and experiencing the Visioning Summit, and after more reflection, I began to fully realize the significance and potential of this endeavor. For example, we're not Miami, but with resident, business, and city collaboration, we may decide to bring a bit of the flavor of the arts featured in Windward here. We're not Fort Lauderdale, but perhaps a few festivals and events like those in Las Olas might find their way here. And we're certainly not San Diego with the greatest number of net zero buildings, but we hope to see our way to a more environmentally sustainable future here. We're none of these places. We don't have to be. I don't think we want to be. We're Coral Springs. That's what makes this project great. We are the sum of our individual ideas stemming from our individual life experiences and careers. All of us together can have a say in how to plan our future. We regularly refer to where we live as my house or my neighborhood, but all too frequently we hear the city does this and the city plans that. And this is a good opportunity to take more of the out of the city and make it our city, my city. I sincerely appreciate this kind of leadership, and as I said at the summit, this commission and our city staff complement one another with the work they do for our city, and I look forward to our future. Thanks, folks.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
And thanks for being a part of our summit.
I
Appreciate you.
really appreciate it. Thank you.
Great. And our next speaker?
Robert Fogel.
Good morning, Robert.
Good morning, everybody. I also want to thank you for Mr. Mayor, holding the Friday morning's hate session. I thought it was excellent, and I thought it was timely, very timely situation. You got a lot of people involved, including myself. I enjoyed that very much.
I'm glad.
As for, I had an experience yesterday where AT&T is putting fiber optics in my community, and they were digging a hole in my property, and they busted the sewer line. Well, I want to thank the staff. Immediately this morning, at 7:30 this morning, I got a call, because I called it into the city, and I got a call, and they were on top of it like flies on poop. Which was very, very nice to hear. I appreciate it, and thank you very much for doing that, because that could be a very smelly problem. On today's agenda, and I don't want to surprise anybody by what I'm going to say, but on items 6, 7, 8, and 9, I'm hoping that Mr. Hunter can explain why we're using out-of-state vendors instead of using Coral Spring vendors. Why are we using Davie vendors to do landscaping when we should be using, hopefully, that we can obtain Coral Springs landscaping people, that we can reward them for the services? In addition to not only inner city, but Chapton, Virginia, Texas, Austin, Texas. I would just love to see local people doing the services for our community for the kind of sums of money that they're being spent. So maybe there's a justification for it, but I'm a homeboy, and I like to see money spent here opposed to other places. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Robert. Our next speaker, Georgia.
Mayor Joshua Freeman, Mark Levitt, Kelly Gonzalez, and Nicholas Matthews have withdrawn their requests to speak.
Okay, very good. Is there anyone else from the public that would like to be heard? They've withdrawn their request to speak. Yeah. All right, seeing none, public comment is closed.
Mr. Mayor, I have a quick question.
Sure.
Madam City Clerk, I just have a quick question for you. Did you type flies on poop into the minutes?
Yes.
Or just the flies? All right, consent agenda, I will pull number 8. Any other pulls? All right, is there a motion to approve the balance?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? So just, generally speaking, this dais has made it a point to ask staff as much as possible to look for the local vendors. And I'll ask, staff to come up specifically in regards to number 8 to talk about that particular bid. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, carries unanimously. So this time, Frank, I'm going to pull 8 and ask for a little explanation of how this bid came about and why we're making this recommendation for Compan.
Sure, Mayor. I'll have Rob Hunter come up as well as Gail from purchasing, and they can kind of explain the process. And I agree with Mr. Vogel on we should be using local vendors as much as we possibly can. However, we do have a lot of specialized services that we don't always have local vendors that can fulfill that. So we try to keep it within the region and then within the state and kind of go in that order. And it also depends where the funding comes from. Especially with grants and other types of funding like that, there are restrictions on what you can actually put as a preference. So Gail will explain a little bit more about that, and Rob can talk about this project.
Good morning, Gail and Rob.
Good morning. Good morning. This project is not for a set of swings. It's not a simple playground installation. And to my knowledge, there are no Coral Springs vendors that have this capability. We do put out bids and RFPs for this type of equipment, and we have yet to find a Coral Springs vendor that has this kind of capability. In this case, Compan is a vendor that has that. It's a, I believe this one was a Sourcewell Omnia Partners contract. And what this contract is, we have a lot of these different governmental co-ops now that have evolved over the years. I've been in purchasing 29 years. We didn't have them 29 years ago. We do now. And what happens is you get a vendor, a city, and Coral Springs has been the lead agency at times for different cooperatives, that puts out this bid on behalf of the entire country for governmental agencies to utilize. So the buying power is far greater than the city of Coral Springs. And it gets awarded to vendors, which gives us a considerable cost savings. It also gives us staff time savings, because for us to have to put out bids for all of these things, you would have to double our staff, which would cost, again, the city more time, office space, everything involved with that. So we do utilize these types of contracts. When we put out bids for Coral Springs, we hope to get Coral Springs vendors. We do get some on certain things, and we try to use Coral Springs when we can. But unfortunately, Coral Springs only has so many vendors, and there isn't anyone that offers this kind of playground equipment.
Okay. Rob, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, just a little bit about this company itself. You know, like Gail said, we're the first one to have an apparatus like this in the state of Florida. I mean, we're second, actually. We're the first one in Jacksonville, and then they brought it down here. So they gave us a significant buy on this apparatus too, a savings on it. So we look at the whole thing when it comes to the city and spending city dollars, at least I do. I try to find the best product for the best price, and if it's in Coral Springs, a Coral Springs vendor, then we will. An apparatus like this in a company like this, it's what we wanted creative, and the cost savings were actually there for an apparatus of this size. So I do take it into consideration also about the city taxpayers' dollars and how we're spending them. And this product right here with this company and this organization is a 20-year warranty opposed to the common 10 and 12. So the cost of the product's better, it's more sturdy, and there was no vendor in the area that actually can compare to it.
Gotcha. Great.
And the cost for this apparatus is not the $550. We've been using the contract, so in the contract year, we're increasing it to allow for the purchase of this. And another thing that Rob had said, we have a lot of equipment that's old, and we're trying to revitalize the playgrounds. Due to all the ARPA funds we got, it solved a lot of other issues that we had, so now we're able to look at some other problems and revitalize playgrounds and make them safer for the kids.
That's good to know. Thank you both. Thank you very much. Somebody like to move item number 8?
Move to approve.
Great. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Carries unanimously. Thank you very much. Next is item number 10, ordinance 2024-101, developments.
Mayor, this is an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Coral Springs, Florida, amending Chapter 2 of the Land Development Code, Section 201, entitled Approval of Site Development Plan Prerequisite to Issuance of Building Permit, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, providing for codification, and providing for an effective date. As you said, this is second reading, and this is a request to approve and adopt.
All right.
And Mayor, there's been no changes from the first reading.
Very good.
Move to approve.
Second.
All right. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. All right. Carries unanimously. Thank you. Next is item number 12, Resolution 2024-005, FDOT and Cornerstone Outdoor Seating.
Mayor, did I miss it? Did we announce we were pulling?
We did.
Okay.
We pulled
thank
number
you.
11.
Okay.
Yep. All right, Tina?
Good
If I can
morning.
read the resolution to.
Absolutely, Sherry.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Coral Springs, Florida, authorizing the appropriate city officials to request that the Florida Department of Transportation lease temporary surplus property to the City of Coral Springs to be utilized for the public purpose of facilitating commercial end uses within the right-of-way along University Drive, south of Sample Road, authorizing and directing the city clerk to transmit this resolution to the Florida Department of Transportation and providing for an effective date. And this is a request to approve, adopt, and authorize.
Thank you.
Good morning. This is just a request for a resolution of support so we can submit our application to FDOT to allow for outdoor seating for the Cornerstone property.
We definitely want that. Is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
All right, discussion. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. All right, resolution has been adopted and authorized. Last, before Commissioner Communications, is 13, the appointment of Ilona Holler. Is that how you pronounce Ilona's name? To the Historical Advisory Committee. It's a request to appoint.
Move to approve.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Carries unanimously. Commissioner Communications, and we will start with you, Vice Mayor, and go right to left.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I wanted to start with this past Saturday. We had a tremendous opportunity to engage with school leadership and some teachers, but more importantly, students. And we had a phenomenal first ever youth mock commission meeting. I just walked away from that event feeling like we sparked some interest in some youngsters to get involved not only in their school, and they're already doing that, but also get involved in our city. So I do have to give a shout out to Liam Siderman, who was the vice mayor during this activity. He is Park Springs Elementary student government president. And because of his leadership, the motion carried 1-0. And he's an amazing young man that's got an incredibly bright future. He's actually going for a critical role in his drama performance this week, so I'm wishing him nothing but the best. But he did us and served us well at that particular meeting. I also have to give a shout out to Christina and Ricardo, who opened up their doors after the mock meeting to provide some ice cream to all the kids. So let's chill. Special shout out to you guys, because everyone that went really enjoyed the ice cream that you guys served. I'm not sure if the Garden Club of Coral Springs, who joined the Florida Federation of Garden Clubs, ever achieved that Guinness Book of World Record. I know we went out to try to support that, but I'd be interested to try to find out if we set the record, or and I can reach out to them on my own, but just wondering. But that was a great event, and they have a great space out there, and we just appreciate all the hard work that they do annually. Once again, the Camp Out second annual was amazing, so everyone involved with that, kudos, and those that participated, I'm sure, are looking for year 3. Pickleball courts, Rob Hunter and Catherine led a lot of initiatives to try to make that happen, and that space has really improved at Coral Springs Middle. And we recently had a ribbon cutting out there, and I saw some of my colleagues doing really well on the court. But I know that this is a perfect example of when the School Board of Broward County and the City of Coral Springs come together, we can make magic happen. I want to thank all those that serve on the Historical Advisory Committee. I really enjoy being a part of that group, and Christine does an amazing job facilitating, and we're super excited to have Ilona Holler as one of our new members. The winter retreat was pretty valuable to me, and I look forward to strategic planning this Monday and Tuesday. If you're interested in attending and observing from a city side, that's at 4150 Northwest 120th Avenue, which is our public safety complex. This is a great chance to not only hear what the forward thinking is of our city, but once again get engaged and involved. Also this past week, I was able to stop by the museum. The Superintendent's Advanced Placement exhibit was there, and I gotta say that I've been attending that event for many years, but that was definitely the best attended, and the artwork just keeps getting better and better. These kids are tremendously talented, and I'm just looking forward to them hopefully being able to pursue that as a career down the road. Once again, I want to thank the work of the Neighborhoods with Integrity. We just had a meeting not too long ago, last week. We have exciting stuff coming forward. There's going to be a lot of communications on that in the upcoming 12 months. But I feel like not only nine events that we've already hosted and achieved, there's a lot of opportunity coming for people to get more involved and get a chance to maybe even lead. Also, Mayor, I gotta give you a shout out. You know, I attended your community conversation, Overcoming Hate and Prejudice, and I gotta say I walked away from that opportunity and experience with some hope. And, you know, I know we had some good conversation about it when we had our winter retreat. And, you know, I'll be the first to say that, you know, for the first time on an incredibly short notice, it was pretty well attended.
Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to that conversation continuing.
Me too. Thank you. Thank you for being present, and also thank you for the words you spoke.
Thank you. Appreciate your leadership in bringing it forward. Also, you know, I just want to update, I had an opportunity to serve our city, actually attending a conversation with Dr. Licata, and April was with me. And yeah, I worked for the school system for 30 years, and I'm very proud of that work, and I'm very proud of the people within. Obviously, they're working hard to make sure that the kids get every opportunity daily to get stronger and better, but more importantly, well-rounded. But there were some elected officials there. There were a lot of city leaders there. And I can say with transparency, and I say this publicly, this is the first time in a very long time that, you know, I walked away from the meeting thinking that there's a chance that we can bridge that gap and ultimately get some work done in a true and genuine partnership. And I will say that Zoe Saunders coming in and serving and facilitating, I think, is making a world of difference. So I'm looking forward to, Mayor, you having that opportunity when you have the Mayor Roundtable, when we get that open conversation. It's my understanding, I think they're meeting with the city managers. It's definitely a step in the right direction, and you know, I just wanted to give you guys a quick update on that. I think that pretty much covers everything that I had to want to go over. We have the State of the City this Saturday. I'm looking forward to giving an update, but also enjoying a concert. And I just want to close by saying that it's a tremendous honor to serve. Looking forward to the upcoming month. We got a lot of activity, but also, you know, we have a chance, obviously, every day to make a difference, and so does everyone in the audience. And to the conversation that we had with the mayor facilitating, let's lead with love. Also, I apologize, I did have one other thing. April White, if you don't mind stepping up for a second, I just wanted to, I want to get your, I have it here actually, your official title, I always get it confused, but Education Relationship Manager.
That is it.
And I gotta tell you, you're a rock star.
Thank you.
And I didn't know you when I was in the school district. I think we kind of maybe brushed
High school,
past,
elementary.
yeah, elementary, high. That kind of separates us a little bit. But since you've joined our team, I mean, you're taking us to another level.
Thank you.
And you know, just keep up the great work. And I'm looking forward to, like I mentioned earlier, bridging that gap. But just as a quick example is the leadership you've taken on to bring SAT back to the city of Coral Springs in a really, really good way. And rumor has it that the first session's already sold out or close to being sold out.
It is. We're so excited.
So if you don't mind, because I wouldn't fail in giving it the justice it deserves, can you, if it's all right with the mayor, give a quick update on the work around SAT and the opportunity the kids have?
Sure. So as January came around, we know that most students are in preparation for the SAT coming up in March. What's new this year is that the SAT has gone digital. There's no more pencil and paper. It's all digital. It's now adaptive in some sessions, so there are some significant changes. So we thought as a city, there's a lot of opportunities out there from the libraries and different companies that are offering like 6 to 8 week sessions for SAT prep. But we found there was nothing really for students who couldn't commit to those 6 to 8 week sessions because of work schedules or family obligations or sports obligations. We wanted to do something different, so we put together a workshop, a 6-hour intensive Saturday workshop in conjunction with our Coral Springs Charter School. We put out bids and partnered with Score at the Top, who's very familiar with our community. There are a lot of our schools offering those longer sessions. We started our promotion prior to February 1st, a series of 3 workshops that'll take place 2 weeks before the actual administration. So it gives students that kind of a window to get their last-minute prep and questions and strategies in line. Happy to say that registration opened February the 1st. We literally had parents calling prior to that asking, when is it going to open? So we had to think of, okay, what time are we going to press the open button? So February 1st at 5 a.m. it went live. We're 5 days in now, 6 days in? We have 192 registrations.
Wow,
So
awesome.
super excited about that. So obviously it was something that was needed, something that was wanted by the students. Our dates are, we have a February date, April date, and a May date. And again, those all precede the actual SAT by 2 weeks. So we're hoping to see a good turnout, hoping to get some good feedback from the students. The cost for the students is $20. The city is subsidizing the rest of the fees. The $20 also provides them lunch and snacks for the day. So it's a pretty good deal for the students. And we're hoping that it'll be of benefit, and we'll see how we can expand on it in the next year to come. So excited.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Great update. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Once again, we appreciate your leadership.
Thank you.
And thank you, Frank, for making sure we brought her on.
Thank you.
All right, and then just in closing, if you need to get a hold of me, my cell phone number is 954-612-7114. And I'm at CS Commissioner 2 on all social media handles. Have a great day.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Commissioner Simmons.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Not sure how to follow Vice Mayor Sarah. He thanked everybody, right, for all the incredible things that everyone's doing, and I echo every single thing that he said. January was the longest year ever because we did so much, but it's all to the benefits of our residents, and all of that was done through the heart and passion of our city staff. And just so thank you for everything that you all do for our residents every single day.
Can we give them a round of applause?
Sure can.
Thank you, staff. We appreciate you.
It's interesting because I think Vice Mayor Sarah is like really fired up right now in the morning meeting, and I'm like dragging. Whereas in the evening, I'm probably like really, really ready to go. Just two things. At 11 o'clock, around 11 o'clock, or maybe even now, I got to check and see. The Florida Supreme Court is hearing or will be hearing oral arguments on the amendment to limit government interference with abortion. And that ruling will come out today because that was a citizen-led ballot initiative to make it onto the ballot in November. Hopefully this gets on the ballot. Because it was citizen-led, they followed every single rule, even after the state legislature moved the goalposts. So whether you agree with abortion or not, it shouldn't matter because this was done by all the rules the way that the state legislature set it out, even after they moved the goalpost, and they acquired the requisite amount of signatures from citizens around Florida. And so the opportunity should be put to the voters. If you care about democracy, you care that the voters have their say. We will be hearing that ruling from the Supreme Court today. And I think I've been pretty clear over the years how I feel about women's reproductive rights, and that no man, no government should be interfering with a woman's body and what it is that she wants to do with her medical decisions. Your personal opinion is your own, but putting legislation in place or things in place to prevent someone from doing something with their body is inherently wrong and undemocratic and un-American. All right. Next, it is Black History Month, as we honored and recognize and proclaim today as Black History, proclaim this month as Black History Month in the city of Coral Springs. And just simply, it is frustrating that we are seeing elected leaders working to promote the permanence of Civil War era statues for folks that wanted to keep slavery in America. If a municipality or an entity elects their leaders and their leaders take an action to remove a statue that promotes the remembrance of slavery, or someone that participated in slavery, or someone that fought to keep slavery, they should have the authority to remove that. Now, if the folks in their municipality don't agree with that, then they can vote them out of office. I'm very clear, everything should be left to the voters, all right? But making it, enforcing people to remember, and you can remember if you want, history is history, but forcing people to remember those relics and the folks that promoted slavery, if they don't want that there anymore, that should be left up to those municipalities. Often it's said history is written by the winners. History can also promote the oppressed and what happened to them as well. And as we continue to talk about the role of history and how it should be learned and who should learn it and when it should be learned, I think it's important that we keep what has happened in the past as a conversation and as a historical teacher. History is not always beautiful. It's not always pretty. Life isn't always pretty. It isn't always sunshines and butterflies, but we have to sometimes, and not necessarily to the detriment of trying to say we're holding people back or we're holding America's progress back, but to talk about things and to have the conversation, to understand where we are, right? America is the greatest country on earth. Its story was not perfect. Nobody's story is perfect. Individually, as human beings, none of us are perfect. There are things that have happened that maybe we didn't want to happen, but it happened. And to ignore that continues to hold back what we really can do as a society. And so I am of the adage that we have to talk about it, and not necessarily in a way that makes people feel that they're responsible for it. None of us today were responsible for it, but it's still important to understand how we got here and where we are and where we can continue to go. So, yes, it's Black History Month, shortest month of the year, whatever, but that's fine. But McDonald's says Black history is 365 days a year. But more importantly, Black history is American history. Hispanic history is American history. All of our histories together combine to make our story one of the greatest stories ever told in all of human history. And with that, I will conclude my comments, Mr. Mayor.
You got it. Thank you so much. And this month we have an extra day.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, there we go.
All right, Commissioner Carter.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do want to thank all of our residents who attended the Visioning Summit, and thank you so much to our staff for a very well-presented discussion and presentation. And we will be using all of your suggestions this coming Tuesday in our strategic planning session to move this city forward to more greatness. I am excited about our appreciation event this Saturday for our volunteers, and then our community concert that will be open up to everybody, and that will be right here at City Hall. Thursday, I want to remind you, on the 8th is the Happy Hour Mix at the Coral Springs Museum. Come and see this gem in our city. We are the only museum west of I-95. And you can catch all of our events at coralsprings.gov/events. And especially pay note to our YouTube channel because there are, I believe, 4 restaurants highlighted for Black History Month. I am dying to get off this diet so I can go. If you need to reach me, you can email me at my full name, Joy Carter, at coralsprings.gov, or my phone number is 954-998-4186, or any of the social media channels at CS Commissioner 5. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. So I loved our community conversation this past Friday. I don't know the exact count, but I imagine it was close to about 100 people. And the conversation flowed very nicely, very respectful. I think we had at least, I don't know, maybe 18, 15 people be heard other than the Vice Mayor and myself. And one of the main things that came out of this meeting came from Sherwar. I forget his last name, but he's a leader in the Muslim community. And I'd say he helped share with me one of my greatest takeaways, and not just for me, but I think for so many people that are reactive on social media, to really take a pause. You know, when you see or read something that sounds like, wow. And he explained that what happened with the Marriott emanated from somebody named Joe Kaufman, who apparently has been an instigator, you know, in the past, and didn't share something that was fully truthful about the conference that was supposed to be held. And one of the things that he asked was, could we do something, as we have done in the past at the library, to honor or acknowledge the Muslim community? And I forget exactly what the celebration is, and I think it's during Ramadan, and it has something to do with that. But if we can reach out to Joyce Campos, I know she led the event in the past. I don't know if there's some way that we could potentially do that this year and help coordinate that at the library. But Frank, did you get some feedback from staff?
Yeah, Mayor, I would ask that if we could hold this discussion at strategic planning next week, because we're going to be talking about some events and how we're going to be doing them and the level of events that we're doing. So if we can hold that conversation for then, that would be helpful.
Sure.
Thank you.
And then, you know, you had mentioned at the retreat, Josh, you want to make sure there's at least one takeaway. And I think another one, besides this potential one, was for additional community conversations to take place. You know, whether it's led by you or Multicultural Committee. It was really, really well received. We had some pastors. We had, I think, people really representing the entire city, the diversity of our community. And, you know, there were some things we didn't necessarily know about and or agree with, but everybody was respectful, everybody felt heard, and all I heard were positive things about it. So I want to thank again the commission for your support of the first community conversation, including on such short notice, and the support of staff for, you know, making it happen. The mock commission meeting was awesome. I think it was great. We had fifth graders. You know, what an ideal kind of group to chat with and let them be present here on the dais and learn some about what we did. So many of the youth stayed afterwards, either for pictures and or for ice cream at Let's Chill. And it was just very special, very, very special. And I'm hoping that we can do that in the future. Yeah, let's give George a round of applause. So the city clerk's office, if you didn't know, really led this event. It's the first time in the history of the city that we had such a thing. And let me tell you, Georgia, you and your team helped make these fifth graders and their parents not only feel special, but really have a connection to their city and city government, and then recognize that they could take votes and give input. And I think for many of the fifth graders that attended, it will be an unforgettable experience for the rest of their lives. So I hope we do it again. Yes, Frank.
Mayor, on that note, Georgia, the amount of positive feedback we got afterwards when we were sitting with the young, I'm gonna call them young adults, you know, because the way they performed that day was amazing. It was very impressive. But the parents and the kids that were there were just really positively affected by that event. And the level of questions they were asking was impressive. So great job on that. I know you had a lot of help, but great job on putting that together.
So one other thing that leads me to, again, compliment you, Frank, is we had this amazing visioning summit, and we do this about every 10 years. And we, along with staff, but especially along with our citizens, we're creating a vision for the next 10 years or more. And I don't think something like this could take place, Frank, unless we had an open, encouraging city manager like you are. And like I share often, you know, I've worked with four. You have the greatest vision, you have the greatest trust, and I think you've assembled, you know, just such a great team. And there's no way we can have the connection that we do with the residents through all these things, the mock commission meeting, the visioning summit, the community conversation, without your leadership and your openness. You know, we've had people that will share, you know, during a commission meeting, an issue, a challenge, and you'll chat with them either right after or, you know, during. You're a rare city manager, and I just want to say thank you. And two more things. I do hope that many people will come out to our concert this Saturday. It starts at 5:30, is that right? Or 6:30?
So Saturday, the State of the City starts at 5:30, Lynn? Yeah, if you can come up, Lynn, and just give us a rundown.
Yeah, perfect.
I don't
That's
want to get any of it
perfect.
wrong.
Thank you, Lynn. Take off your badge. No, I'm teasing.
Oh, my gosh. I'm excited to talk about it. Our State of the City will be welcoming our guests at 4:30 here at Chambers for a sharp 5 o'clock start time, because then we're going to go out and the concert will kick off with our opening band, Spider Cherry, at 5:30. And then it is followed by the Sounds of Earth, Wind, and Fire in Chicago, with former members of Chicago. It's kind of a band that they assembled, and we're very excited. I would tell you that we have gained a lot of traction for this event. If you don't mind me sharing, we got a call yesterday, and I was just really proud of this. This gentleman called. He's lived in this city for 30 years, and he said, "Hey, I've never attended an event." He had questions about seating. And we talked to him for about 15 minutes. And we're asking him questions. Why haven't you? He's like, well, the entertainment, this is the entertainment I want to see. So we said, well, we love that feedback, and that's the type of feedback that we're interested in. We actually asked him to specifically look for us because we want to introduce ourselves, and we're excited to have different people actually joining us on the Great Lawn, and it's going to be a really great evening. I think we all pray for just one thing. Thank you. Great
Put that in
weather.
our prayers.
And I think it's going to be fantastic. So thank you, and I hope that provided all the information that you needed for that event.
Thank you.
coralsprings.gov/events.
All right. Thank you, Lynn. So, Frank, if you could let us all know what committees have openings. I know I would like to be at least one to help fill that.
Yeah, we'll get that to you.
The equipment that we're getting and/or any other parks that we have or are working on, are there opportunities to make sure we can take care of our special needs population?
Mayor, that's going to be part of the conversation on Monday and Tuesday. And it's a specific conversation on where we want to go as a city. But we do have opportunities, but we'll discuss that greater on Monday and Tuesday.
Sounds great. Two more things. If you need to reach me, contact me by cell, 954-494-9872. If you'd like to set up an appointment because you need about 15, 20 minutes, please call Luam, 954-344-5906. I believe I still have city office hours this Friday, so there are openings if you need me. And lastly, during these tough times, I share with many people frequently the importance of giving grace. And it's not just to other people, including people we love. It might be a stranger, that all of a sudden is annoying you because they're taking a couple of seconds longer at the light, for whatever their reasons are. And it could be ignorance. But your grace will give you some more patience. And the last thing for me to share is along those lines, I think it's important to give ourselves grace. None of us are perfect. There's a lot going on. So many people I know have two jobs, or many staff members, you have one job and that you're making money with, and then you're also a parent, and you're also whatever else you are. And these are challenging times still. So as great as we often feel about what we do here at the city, sometimes we may be a little bit too harsh with ourselves. So I'm ending on the word to give yourselves grace. And God bless you all. It's great to be the mayor here and be a friend of everybody around the room. And thank you for being here. I'm complete. Frank, it's up to you.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it. We talked a little bit about visioning. I want to thank Catherine Givens for her leadership on visioning and all the staff that was involved in that. Catherine, if you could come up and just give us a quick overview of the value that Saturday really provided from our community and how that's going to lead into next week.
Yes, thank you, and thank you all for being there. And I also have to say thank you so much to Lynn Martzel, who really got the information out in so many different forms, so many different ways, the creativity on trying to make good use of the people's time so that we could get as many people's voices heard in this process. And I recognize that every decade, we kind of are in a different environment, so that people may not want to give 2 days worth of their time. However, let's try to make sure everyone's voice is heard. And I really appreciate her energy and her great ideas on being able to do that, as well as Nicole, from a city staff's perspective. From the value perspective, I wanted all of senior staff, and I know it's your intent too, is that we wanted people to know that they have a voice here, that we listen and we will read every comment that they will give us, and that we will look at the overall highlights to make sure that, we are looking at the entire theme of what they're wanting to do. So even if it might be one comment, it might have fallen off of, it might not have been a theme, it's still, if they took the time to write it, we will still read it, and hey, that one thing may be the greatest idea, and we'll take that into advisement. So the overall themes that we heard from our residents is around housing and living in Coral Springs, city aesthetics, economic development, what do they want to do here, parks and programming activities, educational partnerships, safety and transportation, and city events. So those are the topics that we will be discussing during strategic planning, and just looking forward to the conversations, and very much appreciate the year-long's worth of multiple opportunities, multiple different ways for our residents, businesses to be able to give their input into this process.
Great.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Catherine.
So Mayor, last week we had 2 long-term employees that retired from the police department. I just want to say thank you to them for their service, and may they have a long and healthy retirement. Tammy Masinski, who was responsible for facilities over at the police department, and Jeff Podwika, who was a sergeant for the police department, retired. So we wish them a long and healthy and happy retirement, and thank them for their service to our wonderful community. Next Wednesday marks the 6th anniversary of MSD tragedy. As a city, we always remember what took place and mourn the lives lost, and continue to have those that were affected in our hearts. I want to continue to give thanks to those that responded and saved lives that day. Our teachers, our faculty, our dispatchers, our firefighters, our police officers. The effects of that day are still present and will always be. There are events taking place at Eagle Havens starting at noon, and at Pine Trails Park in Parkland at 5:30. So if anybody's interested, they can they can look to see what those events are to remember the loss that took place that day. And then, as a reminder, Parkland 17 Memorial Foundation was established to turn that tragedy's pain into purpose with the creation of a public memorial. Commissioner Carter, thank you for serving on that, and we have several staff members that are serving with you on that, so we appreciate all the work you're doing there. If anybody wants to learn more about that, they can go to parkland17.org, and they can participate and donate. Last thing I have, Mayor, is the state enacted some cybersecurity requirements last year, and with that, they put together a grant program to help fund some of that. We were one of the recipients of the grant. Year 2 is funded, but the money's being held. Year 3, there is no plan to fund it, as there was when this first started. So I've provided the commission with a draft letter. I'm asking for consensus to do a draft and adopt. We'll probably change the letter just a little bit. We'll do some modifications to it, but I'm asking for the commission to give me consensus, because I'd like to put the commission's signatures on this letter to go out to our representatives to tell them this is an important initiative that deserves to be funded.
Sure, we have, go ahead, Commissioner.
Oh, I was just going to say, I
You can move.
support, I move.
Sure. Is there a second? Yes, second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Carries unanimously.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Commission.
You're welcome. Thank you very much, Frank. And Sherry.
There's no report, but I'm very happy to be with you in the first day meeting, and I don't know how long. It's enjoyable.
Great.
Thank you all.
Glad to have you with us. Everybody have a beautiful day. Thanks for all your work.